Welcome to Keith and the Girl. I'm Keith Malley.
I'm Chemda.
Chemda, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm great. We have great guests today.
I think so.
Featured on Netflix and Comedy Central. He appeared on Conan and the Today. I don't watch morning shows. I don't know how to pronounce it. The Today Show, of course. Featured on Sirius XM. Featured on A&E. Your pal and mine, Christian Finnegan.
Hello, Keith.
Hello, Christian.
Thank you for having me.
Well,
on this
So
fine Sunday.
mild-mannered.
That's mild. Mild is my middle name.
Well, I'm glad you have the serious voice because I wasn't sure how to bring this up. Last time you were on, we were talking about how Parkland victims and Sandy Hook
Getting
victims.
right into the comedy.
Yeah. Now that they're, grown, Columbine victims, they're committing suicide because they can't deal with what happened so long ago.
What are you trying to say, that PTSD is real? Please, Keith, can we start the show?
This is.
Now's not the time,
We're like midway through the introductions. You've done 50% of your work.
All right. Also joining us, featured on Gotham Comedy Live, Fox's Red Eye, Sirius XM, the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, celebrating, by the way, 1 year of getting Keith's Flesh Salami. Very exciting.
Oh, Jesus
God.
Christ.
Christian Finnegan. Kyle Ocasio. How you doing, Kyle?
Hi.
Hi, baby.
Last year, you developed the worst credit, which is Keith's dick,
I
am
know.
so sorry.
And I love how every time I come on, no matter what I've accomplished or done, this is all I get.
Yeah. It's weird.
That's
it's
my
like,
biggest credit. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of a sad thing when you're the love of your life doesn't know how to pronounce the word Edinburgh, but it's fine.
Am I flying there?
He wasn't invited.
No, it's the way the word literally changes. If we all start pronouncing things the way they look, we'll
Like
understand.
toilet. Why can't you just keep saying toilet?
It's going to catch on. You'll see.
Wait, you're agreeing that he says toilet weird, right?
He says that. Yeah. Very
yeah.
weird.
Say toilet.
No,
Say framebridge.com.
I don't have to.
Yes, you do eventually.
Commode.
What does that even mean?
Baño.
She's trying to get me to say the T word, right? What does that mean? The dump room.
Where is that?
It's where the magic happens.
Right. How was your Mother's Day, Kyle?
Terrible.
That sounds like Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who did good, though?
You got me something.
Yeah,
Yes. You got me Twizzlers. Thank
And?
Salami.
you. And unfortunate, no. A card
Uh-huh.
and Twix.
Twix and?
Isn't this
oh,
fun?
face masks.
And?
Bath bombs.
Thank you.
Wow, she seems thrilled, honestly.
I know, really. It seems.
She's jumping out of her seat here.
The only
it was the
a
least he
dream.
could do. No, he did the math, and that was literally the least he could do.
I love getting my gifts from Dwayne Reed
You know what?
or CVS.
I don't know why people are acting like you get things free at Dwayne Reed. Okay, you still got to pay money. Things cost things.
It's so funny how much credit he wants for the shittiest thing.
Well, it's not hard competition, but her 3 kids all.
That's the thing. You know what he did? He goes, I bet her kids are going to suck. So here's a Dwayne Reed piece of shit.
Yeah.
At least I got a separate card than those little monsters.
They got 1 card for 3 kids,
Yeah.
gave her chocolate, ate the chocolate themselves.
If you mix up your kids' gifts and Keith's gifts, would you be able to know the difference? Like if you just
No.
pulled them out of a bag
I wouldn't.
randomly?
I wouldn't.
You know, a nice Mother's Day gift would be to take the little shits off your hand for a day.
That would be great. I actually asked him if he would take Benny to the movies because there's a Pokemon movie coming out, and I don't do well with kids movies. Like I just can't. I've never been good at them. I text right through them. I just can't. I don't want to pay for the ticket. He sees everything, including kids movies. So I said, why don't you? Benny's the one kid that likes him, so why don't you take the one that likes you and give me the day off and take him to a
How
movie?
many are there?
3.
There's 3, and Benny is where in the
He's
hierarchy?
the youngest. He's
Yeah,
the,
okay, that
he's-
makes sense.
Yeah.
Out there. No, I see the Avengers show. She goes, do you want to see
He's still
Pokemon?
working on object permanence, so it's like Keith is just like, person, take care of me.
I said I'll take him to John Wick. Can't be just any movie of any kind.
Why can't it be any movie of any kind? She's asking you to hang out with her kid. It's not. She's not asking you to have a good time.
It's to do
I
something
don't
you
ever
would
have
be
a good
doing
time.
anyway.
I would not be seeing Pokemon.
You are
I don't know.
absolutely going to see Pokemon.
I don't know.
Okay, I'll see it, but
I swear I'll see you there at the midnight show by yourself. I'll be so pissed.
Kyle, did you offer him babysitting money?
No. And I think that's the problem. Because he's probably like, oh, shit, I have to buy the kid popcorn,
Right,
too. Like,
yeah.
he's probably annoyed with that.
You get him his Twizzlers back.
Right.
He did ask me for an extra $20 Keith and the Girl budget for movies. I was wondering why.
Well, if it's work, you know. I did see John Wick, and I'm laughing at how violent it is, and I'm nervous, like everybody's thinking I'm a psychopath. Because the very first fight is a knife fight, and
Hey.
it's a knife fight.
Okay.
He takes 7 knives,
Spoilers.
throws it into a guy's face, and I'm like, ah!
Wait, do you think they're just guessing that you're a sociopath?
Oh, what do you mean?
You're literally laughing at that.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I'm wondering.
Right.
I don't know. I feel like a sociopath wouldn't even laugh. They'd just be like, "Yeah, of course, that's what you do."
That's true. Yes.
Boring.
Speaking of, we
Only
saw
7.
the Ted Bundy thing talking about sociopath. Is that a sociopath or he's just a crazy killer? The Ted Bundy.
He's probably a lot of
I
paths.
think he's a psychopath. I don't know. I forget the difference.
He's got
exactly.
many paths. The road doesn't fork for him.
It was
he
crazy.
takes them all.
We watched the Zac
He rides
Efron
the
one,
path.
and it was I couldn't sleep afterwards. Like I literally couldn't fall
Because you were
asleep. I was
thinking
like,
of Zac Efron.
like, that's kind of the problem. His ass and that. I was like, oh my god.
Could you not sleep because they keep describing him as handsome and you're trying to figure it out?
I know. Yeah, it's
So
so
charming.
crazy. Yeah.
This is, by the way, the bar for men. He's charming.
Well, the real Ted Bundy was not like his eyebrows were fucked up. Did
I love
you
how
see his eyebrows?
every woman is talking about his eyebrows like that's what we're fucking.
But it's like everyone
When
just
we-
finds him so attractive, and I'm like, he's okay. You know, if I have to pick a killer like Jeffrey Dahmer or him, I'll pick him. But the eyebrows are still not.
The thing is
very good.
when we think about like the list of what women want, like what do you want in a man? I just want a guy that makes me laugh, and it's like, well, I just want that because I know that's all I'm gonna get. So if I want to be with a guy,
I'm sorry to get back to this. I just think it's kind of ridiculous, these sizism that women display by not being attractive to John Wayne Gacy. I guess you guys are all about body image, and a man has to be in shape for you to want to have sex with a murderer. But
Well, this movie that we saw, it's on Netflix now. Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil, and Vile is the title. It's what the judge says to what's this guy's name again?
John Wayne Gacy.
Theodore Bundy.
To Theodore Bundy. And it is funny that Zac Efron played him, and he produced the movie, but that's Zac going, let's be honest, I'm handsome enough.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
But he was good though. I mean, I thought
He was
good.
great. It's just
he's
funny to
desperately
know.
looking for parts where he can like do actory stuff, but still be like the good-looking guy.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like
I
he's not
mean,
going to do like a
High School Musical again. Yeah.
yeah, but he's not going to do like a monster where he's going to get ugly for a movie or gain a bunch of weight like Jared Leto. It's like, no, I want to be like thought of as being a serious actor, but I also have to show my abs contractually.
But do you think maybe he misunderstood Lady Killer and just was already producing the movie?
He's like, fuck, I'm a bad guy?
Oh man,
That's
Wait
a
a
bummer.
minute. I've been described as this my whole life. This is different.
No, I didn't know. I knew he, of course, he was a serial killer, but I didn't know, is he the one that eats boys? I didn't know anything. So that's why I like this movie so much.
It's hard to keep up. It's like shootings now. Like which one was Columbine? Which one was Columbine and others?
Right.
killers today. Am I right?
I know.
And so they don't show the killing. They show when he was first arrested. And then he's an egotist that ends up representing himself. And you see that point of view. So if you're insane watching this, you could wonder, did he do it or not do it? If you're a crazy person, they're not, they don't spell it out necessarily. But he did.
What kind of time is he doing?
He's dead now. He was killed in 1989.
Oh, Jesus, I'm behind.
42 years old.
These days.
you
And,
can't
when you said that, I
correspond
was
with
kind of
him.
like, let that roll off. And you're
Thank
like, yeah, there's so many these days. Yeah, I'm 19.
Her celibacy's up. She's like, should I call him? No, he's dead.
Oh, yeah, I stopped thinking 2 weeks ago. I don't have to do that anymore.
Ted Bundy became involved in politics, proposed to a woman that he dated in high school. That's a major theme, too. He was always proposing, right?
What's the ultimate love?
He left her a few days later and then went on to begin his murders. The women in general were young, white-skinned, long dark hair, parted in the middle. So he had a type.
Shit.
So, like, women could have, they should have all just gone bangs immediately.
Right.
That's what you're
I
saying.
know. What were we thinking?
Bundy's first known murders were in 1974, with his first known violent attack in January. An 18-year-old teen, John Robert, he beat him with a crowbar while he was sleeping,
Oof.
raped him with a metal rod that he took from the bed. He was found the next morning in a pool of blood. He lived, but he was in a coma for the rest of his life, suffering brain damage.
What rest of his life? You know what I mean?
Right. A few weeks later, Bundy broke into another woman's basement, beat her over the head, dressed her, wrapped her in blankets, and carried her away. She was found a year later with no head. And between that time, more killings, more kidnappings, and then that's where the movie starts.
It's a really fun movie.
See, this is the thing, like, Keith is reading that, and I'm like, why are we doing this to people? And then I remember people love murders. They love murder shows, like Law and Order. How many are there of that? Like, it's how many? There's so many actor parts for killing and destroying.
I think people like the
Well, in true
suspense.
crime, I mean, true crime is like, my, I have a half-baked theory, like I do a lot of things, that women tend to gravitate towards true crime because they're justice obsessed, because they are so often robbed of it in real life. I'm not trying to be like Mr.
Oh my God, I think
guy,
I see your
but
point.
I think that, the idea that like people who do stuff have to punished, that is a way more of a thing that gets on women's brains than men's. Like I think, when you like My Favorite Murder, like all those podcasts that are really popular, whatever, there's so many true crime podcasts, Dateline,
But is
all
it more
that stuff.
popular with women?
Much more popular.
Really?
Much more.
I had no idea. That's so funny because we're more known for like watching nonviolent movies or just not liking gore.
Yeah, they don't necessarily, because those things don't really have like vivid.
They're psychological.
It's more the stories of the trials and the actual police investigations and things like that.
I'm trying to think, like, because I want to watch that. Was it a movie or series?
Making a Murder.
It was a movie.
The one we saw?
Yeah, yeah.
The one we saw was a movie.
It's a Hollywood movie.
Oh, good.
On
Yeah,
Netflix.
that's not a
shot.
documentary. That's like a movie, like a biopic.
It's the good ones. It's the good documentaries.
Yes.
Yeah, so I want to watch it because to me it's so interesting that someone can be charming and killing at the same time. Like it's it is the psychological, like you have a straight face. Could I have seen it? Were there signs? Like, am I going to get into this? I don't.
Yeah, he's in a relationship with a woman that has a kid. That's a family that's going on as he's going out and killing.
Now I'm worried about you.
Same.
Like he's.
I mean, not everybody who's charming is a killer. I mean, when you think that, like Keith, I don't think of as charming at all, and I know for a fact he's never killed. So.
In
it's a stand-up joke.
June of 1974, he killed 8 more women. That's good. You got that out. June of 74, he killed 8 more women in Washington. In June, he kidnapped these 2 women from a park in Seattle. The attacks were in broad daylight. He started doing this in front of people.
Yeah, I think that for a lot of the narcissism of these dudes, it's almost kind of like, look at what I can get away with, and none of you can stop me. Like, I think that's as much of the attraction.
I also think it's like addiction, where it's a progressive disease.
Yeah.
And so it's like, well, this isn't satisfying anymore. I want to really look you in the face in front of other people.
Right.
Yeah.
Kidnapped and killed 3 girls in October of 74, one of them the daughter of a police officer. On November 8th of that year, he told a girl he was a police officer, told her to get in the car. She did, believing he really was a police officer. He then tried to handcuff her, but she would not let him, and she jumped out and got away. And she's the one who later said what car Bundy was driving. He sped through a stop sign. They matched the car with him having all this paraphernalia in his car, tape, crowbar. They assumed it was for robberies and then put it together.
This scares me the most because I do think that we're, as women, taught to forgive, and that's why we think people like that are charming, because if you show some charm but then you sort of negate it with your anger or something else, we still remember the charm, and we go, well, everyone gets angry, everyone feels a certain way, and so
But the real him is this other guy.
Yeah, because we don't want to believe that. And I also think we're not learning a lot. I think now we're learning a lot about narcissism and certain psychological behaviors, especially with all these biopics and like all this information. But I don't think we know, like, a lot of people stay in abusive relationships because they are with somebody like this, who's just able to manage life so well while he's destroying it.
Right. He was able to escape twice from jail. I didn't know anything about him, but he escaped
That's how
twice.
charming he is.
Right. But, it's pretty fun to watch. He's representing himself in the courtroom, and because he's representing himself, he has access to an office in the building, so they take a break, and he jumps out a 3-story window.
It's funny how much of this I remember because there was a TV miniseries starring Mark Harmon in the late 80s or early 90s that I watched. It's The Perfect Stranger or something like that.
Right.
I can't remember what it's called, but yeah, I remember that scene.
That was about
Mark Harmon's best role.
That was about him?
Yeah, it was a Ted Bundy TV miniseries.
Oh, he looks like Ted Bundy. Yeah,
A little bit.
Also, don't you think we sort of glorify this kind of behavior also like mob movies? They're always married to women who are very straight-laced, very proper, and they kind of know what their husband does, but they turn a blind eye, and they're kind of turned on by it. Like, we're taught to go for like, yeah, you're a nice guy, but we'll like spit on you if you stay that nice. So like show some.
Well, yeah, I mean, cliches are cliches for a reason. You know what I mean? It's like those mafia dudes, whatever, those hitmen, stone cold killers, psychopaths, they exist, and most of them are married. So there's got to be something, just like there's something in common with a lot of these dudes, there's got to be something in common with a lot of the women that would be with those dudes. You know?
Married with and mistresses and getting like whatever they want. They don't have to be good looking or not even that charming. They kind of just have to be this very intense, weird aggression with a little bit of charm.
Well, I think they find their identity through the men, because it's like the men are like the big important mafia guys or do something important. And so it's like, oh, I'm married to that. It's like the same reason like women who marry like rich guys just for the money. It's like, that's their identity, and they don't do anything themselves, and so it's all wrapped up in what they get. And
right, like I don't have to do anything bad, but I'm living this sort of badass life.
And then I'm sort of able to calm the beast.
Yes, and I'm innocent, and I'm a good person. I can remain good, but really you're not.
Well, you feel good compared to the other person. Do you know what I mean? It's like you always feel like I'm the moral center of this relationship, and I'm the one who keeps the other person in check.
That's how I feel with Keith. Like I'm the moral.
Oh, we all see it. Yeah.
Intellectual as well.
Thank you.
Should women
and funnier as well
have dates, come over, watch this movie together, and see if the guy plays devil's advocate, and then you know if you run or not?
But the charming guys will make you feel like they are so far from that person. The sociopath will be like, I would never do that to you. You're a queen, sort of things. Like they'll only do. It's only charm time during those things.
I guess when the guy says I would never do that, that's when you run.
Agreed.
Because why did you say that?
Agreed. Yeah, totally.
I think it'd be, if you had a boyfriend who demanded that you watch a movie like that, then that would probably be a pretty good sign that something was amiss.
I was willing to watch Break Down the House.
I was willing.
I said both of these look scary.
That movie kicks ass, by the way.
I'll check it out. By early 1978, he had made his way to Florida, where he killed 2 more women, injured 3 others. He murdered a 12-year-old girl. That was the last girl murdered by Bundy as he was stopped by police. On June 25th until July 31st was the murder. This, I believe, was the first televised
trial ever.
Trial, at least the murder trial for sure. He was sentenced to death by electric chair. Denied it for the longest time, and then last minute would give a little more information to keep him alive a little longer until finally the cops were like, we get it. It's over 30. Fuck off.
Roxanne Wins is listening live and says, he may have been bold, but people also just trusted him because he was a clean white dude. Even the judge told him it was a shame he chose this life because he would have made a fine lawyer.
Right.
That was a very powerful scene. But it's true. If he was any other color or another gender, I don't think the judge would have ever said anything like that. It was almost like he had,
I think,
a little empathy and disappointment when he was sentencing him. Like, it's really too bad because you're so smart and you could have been practicing law, and you took another path.
It's so funny, that Trump's being a racist is, I feel, pretty firmly established at this point. Like, but one of the underrated or unacknowledged things, he's always talking about, like, that guy looks like from Central Casting, like Brett Kavanaugh, like Gorsuch, like all these. He always talks about like white guys, like, he wants people who look like they're from Central Casting, like he wants his generals to look. He's like, well, okay, in your imaginary head movie, what roles are Black and Latinos playing?
Right.
I'm gonna guess it's probably not Supreme Court justice.
At Central Casting,
do you know what I mean?
yeah,
like, which parts are you sending those people out for?
Oh shit!
But it is that just subconscious bias. It's like, a lawyer, if you look the part, and therefore if you hadn't just made these simple, very understandable mistakes.
It's like you chose this path. Yeah, you know what? I did pick up that knife one time. Fork in the road, buddy.
Right.
I was like, the LSATs are murder.
I love when in a movie, one of these biopics, at the end, they show some clips from real life. And then it easily makes you think, everything you told me must be true. When you have John Malkovich, the judge, who does a great job, keeps saying, buddy, buddy, watch yourself. And then they show a clip at the end where the judge did say buddy. I'm like, now I believe it all. Good.
I actually do like that, though.
Yeah.
Like,
I
when
do
you
like
get
it
to see
too.
like the real person at the end. Yeah.
You have some argument, and you're like, did this really happen? They show it did. I'm like, all right, A+. Haley Joel Osment is in this.
Oh, wow.
He's
Does
the
he
one
look different?
He used to see dead people. Now he sees donuts. But it's fun to see him. Still the greatest movie of all time.
That's funny because now it's so funny. We're like, this murderer, he's good looking, he's charming. This is the actor. He gained weight. Central casting.
He
black
ate the
people.
ghosts that he used to see.
Well, Haley Joel didn't show up and was like, I wonder who I'm going to play. Will I be Ted Bundy? Oh, no? Okay. Robert Pattinson is being picked to be the new Batman. No, not Ben Affleck anymore.
Just have to Google. him
Oh,
real
that's
quick.
the one that dated the Twilight girl.
Yeah.
Who's now, she's lesbian.
He
now.
was also in Twilight. He
was in
the
Twi- oh, right, okay.
main vampire guy.
He's
Oh,
like,
he does look like a vampire.
he's like, I was a vampire. A bat's not too far off. Let me do it. And Batman's...
I'm sorry. Go
No, I
ahead.
was just going to say, Batman's always been a fucking bore. And this guy seems like a staring bore. He's doing great. Unless Carson Daly comes in and goes, hold my beer. I think he's got the fucking job.
No, but he is definitely like.
Sorry.
No.
The only reason to ever bring Carson Daly back was for that joke. He may now die.
I mean,
that was
he's the host of The Voice.
so good. Okay.
I don't think he needs coming back. Dude's doing fine. I
Well,
would trade.
I honestly did not know he was in the voice. As far as I'm concerned, he's on
I
MTV.
think he is.
He's on the
he has one of
Today
those
Show or
shows. Yeah.
something.
Really?
Yeah.
He's just one of those dudes who will always have a gig.
I think
You know,
I
who
think
the hell knows why?
I must be replacing him with Ryan Seacrest. I'm like, no, Ryan Seacrest does that. No, Ryan Seacrest does
Yeah, Ryan Seacrest.
They're
is
both equally
American Idol.
boring. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the same. As I said this before on this show, like on BoJack Horseman, they cut to these Hollywood stories, and they go. He hosts the show, and he goes, "I'm a Ryan Seacrest type."
Oh, God.
And then the other one, his co-host goes, "And I'm some lady."
I was watching Jimmy Fallon. Howard Stern was on it. It's funny that I think I have to explain why I'm watching it. But he does these...
And how your explanation actually made it worse.
He does... Fallon does this video with... instead of carpool karaoke, his thing is to be in a classroom with kid instruments playing with a real successful band. And they did
What,
it...
are we done with interviews?
Right.
Are we done learning about Howard Stern? Are we done learning about anybody?
I mean, maybe. I mean, I can't. I mean, I'm not a Fallon fan or whatever, but I saw the one, The Who. Is that
Yeah,
what you're talking
yeah.
about? It's like, I would rather watch that than some interview with Roger Daltrey about what his favorite airport is or whatever, you know, like.
Let's see if you can play a little kid. Ding, ding, ding.
I think it has to do a little bit with, so they always pre-interviewed people, and then you told your little stupid story, and it sounded like you said something, but really when you look back, you're just like, and then my kids and Mother's Day. But I think that it seems that celebrities are so scared to say anything. They're like, yeah, let's play this dumb game.
Well, yeah, I'm sure. I think that is part of it too. Is that everything can you say? Sorry, is this better, guys?
Yeah, you made it very much seamless.
Thank you. Anyways, like I was saying. No, I think that you're right, that there is a lot of pressure. Like, don't create a bad viral moment, you know, where all of a
Right.
sudden. But I had a point. It's gone. You got on me about my mic technique.
Well, I found it interesting that Pete Townshend, I don't know. Townsend, I don't know what he was.
Toilet. Hi.
And that's where you got Twizzlers. He's wearing a jumpsuit in this little skit. Pete Townsend.
That was kind of his thing. He used to wear a jumpsuit all the time.
Wait, what's wrong with a jumpsuit?
It just reminds me that he downloaded child porn.
Oh, yeah. You think,
Stay away from the fucking jumpsuit. Why don't you wear
He
stripes?
was working on a book, Keith.
Yeah, he was working on a book.
Oh,
You
that's
remember,
weird.
Yeah, you remember when that was? That was 15 years ago. Where is it? Not even a TED Talk from this fucking guy about kids.
Yeah, it is a little strange because he said that he was molested.
Right.
And then it was found that he had been downloading some sort of child pornography, and he said that he was working on a book about his experiences or something like that. It was plausible-ish.
Okay,
Are you really
But you're right.
saying
Where
that?
is that book?
Give me the
that's,
book.
I mean, but I'm saying it's like, given that he had very publicly sort of talked about how he had already talked about how he had been molested before this stuff came out, which I know a lot of people who are molested then go on to recreate that. But I'm saying at least there had been some plausible history that this was a subject of interest for him.
Subject
So it
of
wasn't just out of
interest.
nowhere that like, what?
Well, I hope it's not a picture book, A. B, the judge should say, you have 2 years. I want this fucking book.
But the thing is, yeah, it's like obvious. You know, we're all looking up child molesting. We're talking about it right now.
I don't think we all are.
Well, thanks to
I
Keith,
Google
we
it
are
every night.
Yeah, but I don't think in order to research child molestation, we're like, I gotta see this in person. Are they like?
Well,
what
of course,
is?
I don't remember the circumstances. It might have been
I do.
something he went to some web.
I do remember. He was 57 at the time.
You're reading it.
He said he went on a child pornography website. He entered a credit card.
Oh, that's weird.
That's what you got to do to understand what happens to people. It's not a philosophy class you're entering a credit card for. It's pictures of kids getting fucked. What are you learning?
Yeah, I don't think I need to see that in order to learn it. Like, I don't need to watch rape.
I'm just surprised that they actually take credit cards on a site like that.
Yeah.
Like, it seems a little...
Yeah.
And you go, okay, and you type it in your last 3 on the back of the card.
You have to pick the pictures without the stoplights in them.
Right, you got to
Promise
fight
that you're
for
not
it.
a robot.
Not a robot, but I'm a fucking weirdo.
Click on the pictures with adults in them. He said he was doing this in connection.
Pick the kids who are legal, and then if you don't get it right, you don't get to go into the site. Like,
He'd been doing it in connection with his research for an autobiography that chronicles his suspected abuse when he was a child.
okay, so I wasn't wrong.
Maybe he was looking for the videos he was in.
Right.
What do you type in for that?
He said he would welcome a police investigation. Well, you might as well. You know, they're coming in to take your
Yeah.
computer away. Welcome them in.
Yeah, would you like some coffee?
He said he'd been rating his childhood autobiography for 7 years and had discovered evidence that he had been sexually abused between the ages of 6 and 6.5 when he was in the care of his maternal grandmother who was mentally ill. Quote, I have looked at child porn sites maybe 3 or 4 times in all, the front pages and the previews, but I've only entered once using a credit card.
Why? That's crazy.
I got to go the extra. What's in the advanced? What's in the folders?
Yeah, that's a lot of curiosity.
Yeah. He said with hindsight, he was very foolish. Okay.
Hindsight is 20/20, and he's gonna need to use that vision to see the shit.
But I felt so angered about what was going on, it blurred my judgment. He'd been deeply wounded by suspicions that he was a pedophile. I cannot remember clearly what happened, but my creative work tends to throw up nasty shadows, particularly in Tommy. Some of the things I've seen on the internet have informed my book. That seems like a lame excuse, too. You know my other work. We have one about a murder, so sometimes they get dark.
Well, in Tommy, there's a song where the uncle molests Tommy.
Okay.
Fiddle about. That's a plot. It's a plot point in Tommy. That the
I'm
kid
glad
is
we moved
molested.
away from murder and went into incest. Like, this is really fun.
What did you say? Fiddle about?
That's the song. Yeah, I don't remember what the actual song, like Cousin Kevin or Uncle Kevin or something like that. But the refrain is a fiddle about. I'm not a huge fan of that song.
Every time you
or that
say
album,
that.
really. Sorry, it's a little crazy. And the fact that I go like, fiddle,
Yeah.
I do this weird thing with my hands and face. Like,
Fiddle about.
fiddle about.
People are gonna hear that in their nightmares.
Yeah.
Roger Daltrey, the frontman for The Who, recently was performing and he was yelling at people for smoking weed. He says he's allergic.
Okay. Well, you're
How
dead.
do you survive all those years?
Good luck.
Good luck with that.
In rock and roll. All the ones smoking grass in the front there, I'm totally allergic to it, he told the crowd. I'm not kidding. Whoever it is down there, you fucked my night and you made me really... I'm allergic to that shit. And my voice just goes, it sucks up, so fuck you.
And Chemda stormed out.
I was like, all right, buddy, more for me.
Yeah, first of all, you're not allergic to it. You're 80, and
Right.
you can barely sing. Like you sing admirably for an 80-year-old, but those are hard songs to sing, and you can barely reach the notes, even brought down 5 keys the way they probably have been.
What's like a Who song? What is the
We
song?
won't get fooled again. Bob O'Reilly, which was Teenage Wasteland. Who Are You? Magic Bus. Talking About My Generation.
Who are you?
Yeah.
Fiddle about.
Fiddly dee.
He's more offended by this weed than he is his bandmate putting a credit card into a pedophilia website. That's interesting.
Well, he's not allergic to it.
Right. We were talking last time Kyle was on about the emails between my ex-wife being really me talking to my dad.
Do you know about this, Christian?
No, but I did think about. I don't know when I talk that Tony Robbins being in the news kind of made me think of
my ex-wife?
Yeah, that I know she was serious into Tony Robbins, and he kind of was. In
She
the
was
news.
not seriously into Tony Robbins.
I like
but
Tony Robbins, but yeah, it's kind of disturbing what
I'm going to ignore that you just said that.
I
But
always did until I
mean,
heard this stuff.
Tell me what you read about Tony Robbins.
well, I didn't read anything. There was a audio recording of him telling a woman who was abused that, like, but admit it, you were a crazy bitch sometimes, right?
Yeah,
It's
like, tough it
you
up.
were abused,
blaming
but you
her,
were-
you know,
yeah.
and like blaming her for like, you know, making excuses and stuff like that. But he's like, you were a crazy bitch sometimes.
Right.
Admit you were a crazy fucking bitch or whatever, you know. And It's uncomfortable.
Well,
And I understand his sort of reverse psychology, like don't fall back on your damage and all that stuff, but it's gross.
It was a little over the line, like a lot over the line.
Yeah. There's a reason that his own employee recorded it and leaked it to the internet.
Right. He's trying to do psychotherapy in 2 lines. You know, he's like, here's my fucking point. The point is always toughen up. The end. Next person.
Yeah.
But I will say, I used to, you know, before all this came out, I mean, I was never like crazy, like following him all over the place, but I watched this documentary. I liked it. I read something along like years ago, and it was a powerful, it was a good like self-help.
I mean, he didn't get that
book.
far without
So-
being a very good motivational
So
speaker.
yeah, I mean, it's kind of like
And motivated, give him money.
it's
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I don't know. It's just definitely it's disappointing, you know.
So my dad wrote to my ex
Yes.
of 2 years. You know, we were divorced for 2 years. Whatever happened between the two of you?
Yeah.
And you know, that means he thinks we don't talk. So you're gonna the problems you could be creating. We happen to talk. So my ex, who isn't like, you know, turned on all of a sudden, she's really good thing I'm out of this crazy fucking family. What is this? And showed it to me, and I said, hey, how about I start a fake email and I'm gonna pretend I'm you? And it did. I was kind of surprised it didn't bother her, and that's what we've been doing for a while now.
She was like, I'm not a Mally anymore.
It's insane. It makes no sense.
It's got so out of control.
Yeah, it's really it's
Her fake email address is catlpersonal86. So all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it's like, why would you have such a sexual email?
His father saying that.
And so fake Catherine
What?
says, huh? You got to explain. I'm not pretending to even make that make sense. He's like, well, you could have looked it up yourself, but a simple search shows that 86 is the new 69. I'm like, what the fuck?
What? This
Yeah.
is your dad.
Yeah.
And your dad does not know that you're aware of this.
Correct. Correct.
he's it's kind of entrapment. I mean, it's his dad is in the wrong for going behind his back to inquire, but
It's not entrapment when you started.
I
That
don't
is
know.
true.
He started it.
It's very uncomfortable.
It is
You're about to, if you
uncomfortable.
don't know about
No,
this yet, you're
this
about
is-
to hear how uncomfortable it gets.
It's wonderful. And and it's been going on for
3 weeks maybe?
a couple weeks, but a lot of emails back and forth.
It's the best part of his day.
I love it. I love it. But now I wonder if I'm getting to the end. I wonder if there's anything more to know. I did get him to explain how
You
he
should
had the
start
chance
asking
to.
him to meet up. Like, hey, now the key's out of the picture.
I'm wondering if I can get a dick pic.
I don't want to know the answer.
So you can hear all these emails. And the last time Kyle was on, the show was called "Not Your Father's Sexual Position."
Oh my god.
All he has to do is look at the website for a half a second, my dad, right, and figure it out. Anyway,
That's how much he cares about you in your life.
we put up a poll.
By the way, if you're a parent, Google your kid no matter how old they are. What is wrong with you?
Right. And we were
And,
asked.
and start naming them things like Chemda. So they just first name Google.
So we found out, you know, my dad had a chance to marry a millionaire, supposedly, but he knew to stick with the family. But he could have married a millionaire.
He told all this to your ex-wife.
Yes.
Okay.
That's really him.
Yeah,
Right.
of course. But I mean, he thinks he's talking to your ex-wife, and he thinks that's appropriate information to share with your ex-wife.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, he's turned on. In fact, for
He called her pretty out of nowhere.
Well, he asked all these questions, by the way. So he said, "Were you ever in a situation where you felt like cheating on your spouse?" So he's asked all the questions, and then Keith Cat, fake. What do we call her? Not Cat.
Right.
Not Cat is asking the questions, and then his dad is responding.
Right. With no problem.
Yeah, it wasn't like he was like, did you ever want to stick it into somebody else? He was like, did you ever have trouble in your relationship where it strained it? And he's like, oh, I wanted to fuck this woman, and she was way into it. I'm like,
Because
what?
Not Cat is trying to break up me and Kyle.
Gotcha.
This sick fake bitch.
Gotcha. And you don't feel like maybe that's creating problems between your dad and Kyle that is going to be
Apparently the
damaging?
problem's there.
Why does Kyle need to do anything, you know?
But I'm saying it's like you're now are you instigating these issues between your dad and Kyle?
No,
No.
his dad is not into him dating
His
Kyle.
dad's not a big fan of me anyway, which is fine.
Which
but
is what we
Keith
found
is
out. So he's the one who started that. He's
keeping it going.
So then
And is it possible he's just kind of likes Kat and is just trying to be like, oh, fuck her, you know, like just because he's trying to get you and Kat back together? Is it that kind of thing?
No.
Like it's personal against Kyle?
He would rather have me with Kat
Right.
than me with Kyle, who has kids.
Right, I see.
That's it.
He said it. Kyle went to visit his parents' house, and
They met.
in earshot after a nice, lovely visit. And she's a lovely woman. In earshot, I mean, like, what are they going to really be upset about with you?
Yeah.
In earshot, he goes, "I'm not into this, and you really need to end it." It's like, where did you get that information from?
And
She's
I was
been
like,
lovely.
bye, thanks so much for everything.
Right.
Yeah, she's like a
Thanks for the
polite
Jesus candles.
adult
That have
person.
terrified me.
Like, how much could you really like at this point? If we all go to somebody's parents' house, what issues are they going to have with us? We're not gonna like throw anything. We're just gonna politely have dinner with whoever adult. Like we're all
and
adults
just
now.
suck it up and just get on with your life.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, Kyle's not going like abortion. Everybody,
Yeah,
are we into it?
And it's as simple as she has 3 kids that you didn't give birth to. That's not the way things should be. It has nothing to do with Kyle's personality. I mean,
Right.
he couldn't get over telling her 7 times a day.
is it
how-
just that he desperately wants you to have kids? Is that what it is?
Yeah,
And he
to-
figures since Kyle has kids, you now won't be having kids.
Yes, to do what's normal. And what's normal is a guy and a girl having their own kids.
In the same religion, same race.
Never mind, he has 5 kids, and none of us talk to him in a normal way whatsoever. But these people still have parenting advice.
Yeah.
You don't have a normal relationship with any of us. And we all get along with each other. But you still know you have the advice about these 3 kids that you never met.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
a good point. Like
Yeah.
I spoke to my father-in-law, and his older 3 sons are just degenerates. One's in jail, one's on the lam, like just degenerate people. But he at least goes, yeah, I don't know. I can't do anything about that. I just have to like let it go. And I'm like, okay, that's good parenting advice.
Right.
Just like being honest about like something went wrong, and I don't know. I tried my best.
Yeah.
Have you thought through how you're going to?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, on day 1 I did, honestly. But he uses the quote, a done deal a lot. And he'll say, he told fake Catherine that it's not a done deal between me and Kyle. And then warned again, but be careful, once he knows the kids more, it could be a done deal. So we only have so much time to strike. So you're going to tell me that's all entrapment? Guy's a shit dog.
Oh, I've never called it entrapment.
Right. Yeah, I do. How do I expect it to end? Worst case is what? We never talk again? Okay. We don't talk anyway. Of any kind of substance. I don't care. I certainly won't miss it.
I don't think that's the worst case, I'm sorry to say.
What could be the worst case?
The worst case is your mom being upset because you actually get affected by
this
that.
is what I was going to say.
But you are close to your mom.
Close.
Close enough. She has Alzheimer's, so as close as that can be. But yes, my mom loves me.
She thinks you have a great voice.
But the
Mommy thinks I'm handsome.
right. But the real love,
They
like my
kiss
dad,
on the mouth.
Ew.
like my dad thinks he loves me. My mom does love me.
Okay.
You know.
And I see that.
Right.
No offense.
Well, so for Mother's Day, my mom says, tell Kyle Happy Mother's Day.
Oh, that's nice.
Okay, that's very nice. But what that means is my dad is not showing these emails to my mom. That's even a secret from my mom
Well, your
because my dad wouldn't want to encourage that.
Your dad loves secrets from your mom.
That's how the whole thing started, Christian. I go, can you keep a secret? He goes, I am very good at keeping secrets.
What was the secret that you and?
I didn't even say it yet. He's just very good. He knows whatever it is. I can. From my family, it's you and me, babe. Yeah.
Yeah, why are you so confident that you can keep a secret? Like, I'd be like, I don't know.
What is it? Yeah, I need more detail.
I have Keith's kid.
I have your best interest in mind, and you can tell me things, and obviously I won't betray your trust, but what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
are you fucking my life up by telling me something?
Yeah.
Then you're putting me on an awkward situation where I now have to do something with that information.
Right,
I either
that's-
have to betray you or go against my own morals.
Yeah, it's like going, don't get mad, I want to tell you something. No, fuck off.
Yeah.
You have to tell me.
That's
and
what my daughter prefaces everything with. Don't get mad.
Yeah, that's not fair. Like, don't have a response, and then you stab someone.
Right. Yeah. So I picture I will come clean. I'm thinking it's going to happen on Father's Day if I call.
Oh, you are such a sick
Because
bastard.
I don't see any other way it could happen. Like I said, me and Kyle saw him not too long ago. So that year, I'm good for another 2-3 years. So the only reason we would really talk would be Father's Day, and I can see him giving a hint. And if he does dance, then we're going to play.
No, he's not going to hint at it.
You don't think?
Can that be the poll?
Sure.
Because I don't, I know he loves hinting, though. Like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't wonder if blah, blah,
Any
blah.
minute he will say, have you Kat been? Do you guys still talk or something, or
And
how's
that's
that relationship?
good enough for Keith.
And I'll say that'll be exciting. This is how the end will start.
I think what you should do is you should say if he asks about Kyle, whatever, say it's going well, but she won't 86 with me.
I can easily see doing that. Like she wanted the 86.
Because his brain will go fried because he won't like what is it?
Yeah.
Does he know what? You know what
Do
I
I
mean?
think I know because only I know? Right.
Yeah, exactly. Just let it sit, let it marinate for a couple minutes.
That's actually, if you are going to go like the mean route, to drop a hint from it, whether it's that. I mean, that's kind of
Right.
intense.
that's
but
the best.
drop some type
Or
of
quote
hint,
done deal somehow.
something.
No,
yeah.
done deal won't do it. 86. Christian is a genius. You heard it here first. I don't know. That was
People have heard it before.
I wonder if you said something.
No, your wife wrote it.
Quoted
She's like,
him.
thanks for letting me know.
How about Kyle wants the 86? What is it? Do I do it?
Wait.
What's your favorite sex number, Dad?
86. 86 means something's canceled.
Right.
Like at a bar. Like, oh, Budweiser's 86.
Well,
like,
Thanks
that's
for
what 86
explaining
means.
it to us.
But I mean, it's he's not wrong that 86 does have a connotation, but it's a connotation
sexual,
of
yeah.
it's an inventory connotation.
I love how you're even trying to find, like, I mean, I guess 86 means something.
So yeah,
Can
he's out there.
you fit that?
Of course I can. You can crowbar anything because he's never really listening.
Oh, please don't say anything but that line. Please.
Happy Father's Day, Dad. Hey,
How do we do it? Christian, how do we do it?
Yeah, like you don't necessarily because you wouldn't necessarily talk like that
Right.
vividly about Kyle, but hey Dad, you know it was a good year? 86.
Okay, that's another good one.
But just keep bringing up 86 just in various.
that year was
various,
yummers. I was thinking about visiting them with like a sports jersey that says 86 on the back.
He
Maybe
put so much thought into this.
Honestly, it just comes to me, baby.
Maybe you're like ask him for fatherly advice because it's Father's Day and be like, I know Kyle already has 3 kids, but it doesn't mean that I don't want to start another family, but I was told that like position 86 wouldn't get someone pregnant.
Position 86.
Right, it's so goofy. How do you even say it?
Right.
Assume position 86.
So he goes like the last email. We would go back and forth, and so I was like, all right, let's see if I don't write back. Will he still have to? And he waited about a week until he tried again. He's like, I did bring up religion. Did that scare you off?
Dude, why is he trying to keep this going?
Exactly. So when you bring up an entrapment, Kyle, there's so many outs. And during my emails, I'm clear when I say, hey, can you tell me again how this isn't completely wrong? And he keeps going.
And what does he say? Like when you say that?
Well, you're trying to, let the family work out and blah, blah, blah.
Well, no, I think he sees it as advice, and as long as you're going to a priest or a man of God for advice, then it's not gossip. But really, it's gossip.
And that's kind of a narcissistic part of him that wants to feel like that. And give
I don't
that
think he's
advice.
smart enough to be a narcissist. I think he's just an egomaniac.
I think you should write to him and you say, hey, what's your dad's name?
Mike.
Hey, Mike.
Which I learned. He
Yes.
prefers Mike over Michael. I learned that.
Hilarious. I'd say, Mike, you keep sending me these emails, and I'm just wondering, is your intent here to try to get me and Keith back together, or are you trying to cultivate a relationship between the two of us?
Too direct.
And I like that direct. You don't think that's a good idea?
Sure, why not? None of it matters.
Or do you want us to be closer? Do you know what I mean? That
Yeah.
it's like so it doesn't have to be like necessarily creepy,
Right.
but kind of like a if when you're like flirting with somebody online or whatever, so you throw out these little things where it's like there's always plausible deniability to it. Like,
Yes. But I think I don't think that has enough wiggle room for
Do you think
plausible
he's
deniability.
creeping on her?
In a way.
I paused. I paused just now. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's the direction I want it to go, but not that direct because then
He knows it can't happen.
I think he feels useful right now. He feels useful that he's providing this regular advice to someone who's seeking him out. He's bored. He doesn't do anything all day.
When I'm in heaven and I look down and I can see the past, I'm not going to be surprised to find out he whacked off in his priest robe.
Of course he whacked off to every one of your girlfriends.
Of course.
What, he was a priest,
Yeah.
and then he left the priesthood, right?
Yeah.
For poon.
That's why Keith is fucked
But he
up.
still has advice about God and kids. Don't worry about that.
And he'll leave those easily and still have advice.
So we put up the poll on the website. What should the next thing be that Keith rates back to the dad, being the fake ex?
I like Christian's idea, I guess. Yeah, the 86. We got to get that in there somehow.
All right. At 3% of the votes, we'll start at the bottom. Have you ever drank piss?
Andrea, you voted for that? Okay.
All right. Tied at 6% is other, explain below. Okay.
No, wait, did you come up with these options, or
Yes.
did people say, okay?
Yeah. Or,
Well, people have been helping, in all fairness.
or something like, the other clit, I went cock to a play, and the performers were talking about blah, blah, blah.
That doesn't even. I don't even understand that.
I don't know what that means.
I
What?
love it.
So
I
picture
if he
your
thinks
clit and cock.
86 is something. then-
Oh,
So picture you're reading this. The other clit, I went cock to a play, and the performers were talking about, you know.
I don't understand.
A lot of people didn't. That was only 6%. I enjoyed it.
I loved it.
All right. Tied at 11%, Keith's thinking about an abortion,
Okay. Wow, people are weird.
and Keith never thought I was pretty because he will not stop saying how beautiful she is.
Oh, good Lord.
Okay. Now,
The good Lord is right.
at 26%,
Okay.
this is in response to him saying, did I scare you off with religion talk? She'll say, you never scared me off. Oh, no, Daddy, never.
Oh God.
Anyway,
I'm
have
gonna
you
vomit.
ever blah, blah, blah?
That's the one I picked. Oh, God, oh, God, oh, God, oh, God, oh, God. Yes.
And
Please do it.
winning at 37%, I'm ashamed the way I handled the relationship. Anything you're most ashamed of?
Ugh. He's going to say something dumb. He's ashamed that...
he'll say, yeah.
He's ashamed that he couldn't bring too much joy to his kids. Whatever.
All right.
I
He's
think-
ashamed of his son's mouth.
I think just a full close up, so much that you can't even really tell what it is. Just a picture of a butthole. It's like right up close, full starfish.
Does this tunnel mean our relationship
No
goes
explanation.
from... Right.
Could be hers. Could be some random dudes. Like who knows? Just
I'd say she subtly starts hitting on him.
Okay, why not, right?
I don't know how to do that. How do you? I think it should be like,
so she's never responded to any of these
No,
things.
no, she's a grown adult.
Okay, but even initially,
This is psychotic.
Yeah.
No.
Does she even know that these are still coming in?
Yes.
And he's enjoying every single second.
No, he has to learn a lesson, even if he's not wrong.
How many emails has he sent? Total.
Like
20
So
easily.
many.
God damn.
yeah.
So it's going to be my fault at the end, but it will calm him down before he rates, for example, in real life, Kyle's kids. Why wouldn't he? There'd be no reason he wouldn't.
I don't know. I don't think so. I think he separates all the nonsense in his head, and he feels justified, and he'll feel just as justified. You guys have been telling him
hold
what
on.
a shitty
you're missing,
father he
You're
is.
missing a step. Yes, he will be justified, but he will know his son is evil, and there's going to be a mess if you rate Kyle's kids.
I don't think he's going to talk to you ever again.
Good. All right. I
We say
disagree.
rate? Is that what you say? Rate Kyle's kids? What?
He's afraid that if he
Right.
would go behind
Right,
his
Kyle's
back,
kids. I see,
right,
I'm
that
sorry.
he might write
It's
my
his-
kids.
It's
My
Keith's
kids
weird
are
accent again.
Say
my
toilet.
kids never fucking check their email anyway. They get in trouble for it at school, so your dad's not gonna get through to them. They're not responsible.
That's the real lesson here.
And what do you think he would say to their kids? Like,
You
Tell
can't
your mom.
guess.
Yeah,
I don't
who
know.
knows? Yeah.
No,
I
you
didn't know
should
he'd
go to
say.
church more.
I didn't know he'd say to my ex-wife, 86 makes you look like a whore.
Right.
I don't know. I never know. I just say shit and something I could never guess comes back.
I think she should be like, I'm feeling very lonely. It's really nice to talk to you because you're older, you're wiser, you have all this experience. I'm thinking of skewing older. I love Keith, but I love Keith, but I do think he does need to live life more just like you have, and like keep going. Like, this is what I need, just like you. This is what I need, just like you.
How do you
Right.
take care of your wife's moistness? Because I am dripping.
Wow, I really almost just threw up.
Yeah.
Wow,
What are we doing here?
come on, go with what I said. Come on, voters. Yes.
that's not bad. That's
Right?
not bad.
Okay.
It could be something like,
Is the butthole really the new vagina? I came across this website unbeknownst to, why'd you even look that up? I don't know.
Yeah. Why is your dad looking up 69 positions?
Yeah.
What? Did I
There's
even?
got to be some biblical story about a woman fucking her dead husband's father or something, and maybe just like
86
send
times.
that. Yeah, but like send that passage, my favorite Bible passage. Or something.
Oh, I see. Sparrow says, I think Kat should write a love letter to Keith to have Father Malley edit and approve.
get it, but I really think she should start hitting on him. If we're going to get to the heart of what the fuck he wants.
Well, this is what she's saying. It's an opportunity to slip into some sexy remember whens and sensual allusions to her body.
No, because it reminds him that he's talking to his son's ex-wife. And that's too close. It has to be like, Keith was great, but you're greater. This is great.
I don't know. But I could see. I see the point that might be a little like sudden. Like like clearly he knows who she is. That it's his son's ex-wife.
But his ego is so big that when somebody gives him a compliment, that's what he believes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know the guy, so
I don't think anyone does.
You do. This is it. Oh well. So we'll see. That's that.
How's your family?
Dead.
Mostly dead.
You're so
Mine
lucky.
too.
Hers too.
Oh yeah.
Hey, awesome. We don't have to take care of anybody.
Mine thinks I'm dead. If that helps you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ignore me actively.
Oh.
So.
But yeah, he's gonna. I think on Father's Day he will say, "You and Catherine ever talk to each other?" And I'll go, "No, not in a million years."
No, I 86 that shit.
Okay.
Huh?
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Yeah.
And I don't mean porno fucked her. I mean, cut her out of my life. Kyle, I follow your Twitter, by the way. You have a lot of thoughts.
Thanks.
Yeah. Quote, where are my socks? Can you get breakfast? Sign this permission slip that was due 2 weeks ago. Well, Mother's Day is definitely motherfucking over. But
Thank you.
Do you still have those Twizzlers?
I ate them
See?
when I was writing out.
That's
Yeah,
right.
before I went to my show last night, I had some
I-
popcorn, skinny pop, and the Twizzlers mixed in with the popcorn.
You are
I
so
love
nice.
That.
You're so nice right now.
I am.
I know.
Keith, ask me if I still have the Twizzlers you got me for fucking Mother's Day.
Huh? Do you?
Fuck off.
Well, you
It's
don't know.
goddamn Twizzlers. You went to the movies. Thanks for the gift. How's the Twizzlers? Sit down.
It was very thoughtful.
Oh,
it was
the best.
cheap,
It was really
but it was
not.
thoughtful.
It was
It's
not.
really not. But hold on to this one.
It was not thoughtful
Yeah.
at all. It was worse than nothing.
It was, you know what? It was sweet, literally, but even Twizzlers aren't as sweet as other candy. So you're not even like, I don't even know.
Well, you give the person what they like, not what you think they should
Well,
like.
the 1 year anniversary is the dull, chewy plastic anniversary, isn't it?
Speaking of, your anniversary is this week.
Yes.
Yeah. What do you want, Kyle? Don't look at him because he's not going to fucking know, so you might as well spell it out. Now, what do you want?
$9 and under.
You know, these $9 add up.
I told him.
But now, what do you want? Like gift? I mean, sure, gift wise, but
He
like, what do you
knows.
want?
I dropped. We're going out to dinner. Went to a nice place. He even
Chipotle
mentioned
is table
something.
service now?
He said something about the restaurant, like, well, why do we have to go? Like, and then he gave me a story about a guy that sells two lamps. One is $10, one is $100. Did you hear this story? And the person says, how come that lamp's $100? He's like, I don't know. Some people just like to pay more. So he tells me that story when I say, let's go to this restaurant. So that's like his way of saying,
Fucking bastard.
how about a diner in Astoria near my fucking shitty laundromat house?
come
How about
on, man.
that?
Let me
Come
tell you something.
on.
Okay, she wants to bring us up. It's go time.
Okay.
All right. We go to these.
Just because your last wife still has memories of the potato famine and would put up with this shit.
We go to these restaurants, and if you remember, this is what I was talking about last time you were on, Christian. Orders the steak well done. I'm the one who takes it to go because she has 2 bites, because obviously it's horrid, and this happens every time we go out.
Doesn't happen every time.
Every time I end up with food for days.
Yeah, well done steak is really nasty.
It's nasty. Last time we were out, what happened? Oh, I'll take the chicken days. And we get it, and she's like, is there vinegar in this? I'm like, how old are you? So guess who has chicken bolognese in their house for 3 days? Me. Another $100. Why not? I'm not cheap. I don't think I'm frugal necessarily, but just a little common sense. Instead, we all play dumb. I'll take an extra broccoli rabe on the side. And I go, look who's getting broccoli rabe in their house today. Keith. You want anything to go for your house or your family? No. I just order shit. Well, I try to respect money. Now I look like a cheap asshole. You're welcome. I respect money.
He'd rather cook for me in his hideous Crocs, which those should be 86'd.
You're really upset about this Croc situation.
I hate them.
But they're only at home. But I guess that's
I
where he's turning you
know.
on.
She's acting like I wear them in bed, all right? You know what she bought the other day? How dare she says anything about these Crocs? Do you remember Karen Feehan was on and she had that little face roller?
Yes.
I heard the episode and I was like, oh my God, does that really work? And so I
In the episode, everybody, including Karen, mocks it.
okay, but guess what?
You bought it.
I bought it.
We do reverse commercials
I have
over
it.
here.
I have it.
I know you do. So don't you dare
And guess
ever
what?
talk about my Crocs that are
Listen, your Crocs don't take the lymphage drainage out of your fucking face, and you're not a 43-year-old woman who wakes up with puffy eyes. So fuck you. Thank you, Karen Feehan, or whoever that was.
You got this roller just in time Tuesday.
It's a 24-hour delivery. Thank you very much. And look, do you notice puffiness?
Yeah.
You better shut up, Keith.
You know what I'm gonna do for her for our 1 year anniversary? I'm gonna give a bowl of ashes, and it was $100 bills, and I burned it. I love you so much.
I do have to
Kyle.
say, it was very surprising to hear that Keith doesn't want to go to a restaurant because, like, he spends too much money, I think, in restaurants, so it's weird.
Kyle, you know who would treat you better than this? Keith's dad.
Ted Bundy.
What do you like to eat in restaurants?
I like pasta. I like steak if I'm not getting yelled at.
I'm trying to explain to her she doesn't like
I like
steak.
Spanish food, of course. I love rice. I love everything with like rice.
Yeah, why don't do you like Spanish food, Keith?
Sure.
Why don't, yeah, I mean, clearly you've gone out to eat and enjoyed it before, Kyle. I mean,
Yeah.
why can't you just bring him to one of those places?
No, she hasn't. So we go to get Spanish food. Good question. So we go to get Spanish food, and she goes, all right, we'll take the corn on the cob, we'll take the how you doing, blah, blah, blah.
Oh,
Well,
I
guess-
didn't know they put shit on the stuff that they weren't supposed to put on
It's
it.
Spanish food.
No, the
Mexican
corn. No,
corn!
it was-
She didn't know there'd be Mexicans on it.
Wait, that's not Spanish.
It was Mexican.
I figured that's what they meant.
So the
gonna
Mexican
eat
corn
paella.
had weird stuff like mayonnaise-y stuff. I was like, ooh, no. And he was like, oh, I'll eat it, I guess. And so he ate it.
I
So
don't
it
think
didn't go
I
to
think you're
waste.
not allowed to order anything unless you ask if it has ill, gross
Yes.
things in it.
Oh, is there vinegar in it? It's like you have no idea the shit you're eating that has mayonnaise and mustard, especially, and vinegar. Do you know what the weird denial? So I just let you go and you don't know. But once in a blue moon, the vinegar was a
He
little
tries
too
to
much.
sneak it up.
And I got myself a $40 dish at home. No, it doesn't matter. Spanish. It doesn't matter any nationality.
We're going to an Egyptian place for our anniversary, which will be fun.
Oh, what kind of food is Egyptian? I don't know.
Oh, guess what? Creamy. Guess what scares her? Creamy. Were you fucked by Creamy? What happened? What happened with Creamy? Got to put her in immersion therapy and just dump sauces
Creamy
on
killed
her.
my parents.
Yeah, Creamy killed your parents.
You do have a lot of restrictions for eating in a restaurant.
Yeah, I will say I'm still on your side 80%.
Wait, let's name it. Vinegar,
I just don't
ketchup,
like ketchup, mustard, mayonnaise.
sauces.
The Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. What the fuck is left?
And salad dressing, I don't like.
Okay,
Just wet things in
Yes.
general.
I'm gonna get in trouble because my ring hit that. He's gonna beat me later.
if you have steak and it comes with a sauce on that, is that gross?
If it's like a butter thing, that's great. I love butter. I like soy sauce. I like teriyaki. I just don't like stuff anything that smells like a big asshole. I don't like.
Oh, we love that.
Oh God, yeah.
We go to
It's
restaurants just for
a
that.
Wet, malodorous.
What's your favorite restaurant?
It used to be. It just closed down.
Keith's Blue
Novecento.
Apron.
Novecento used to be on like in Soho. It was like an Argentinian place. I loved that. I like the place we're going on Thursday is really nice. So
What place is that?
It's Casa La Femme. They have like belly dancers and
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
So he warned me. He said, "This is hilarious." He's
They
like,
got belly dancers.
that's what he says. He's like, I just have to let you know, anytime I go to these places, the girls always fall in my lap. They just fall in my lap. I'm like, okay.
What are these conversations that you're having?
This is stop. This is absolutely a true story.
This is bananas.
Whether I've been to
Oh my
Lips
God.
with drag queens or any of these,
You think she's not going to understand what happens? Like, I don't know. She just like
No, I totally.
He's trying to tell me how sexy he is and that they just can't help.
I know exactly why this is because Keith is like the perfect representation of just like dopey white schlub.
Right.
And they're like, it's hilarious for me as like a belly dancer or whatever to sit in this guy's lap because there's comedy there. If it's like some ridiculous, fancy Brad Pitt looking guy, well, that looks ridiculous.
He looks
and
better
I
than
don't
Brad
wanna,
Pitt.
No, what I'm saying, but he's not also like gross and disgusting where I don't want to sit in his lap. Keith is like a blank slate. He's like
Right.
completely
True,
neutral.
yeah.
He's like every man.
Yeah, like he's a mild man. He's not going to put his hands on your hips.
Yeah, he's not going to be a creep, but he'll probably
Yes.
fidget around awkwardly,
Yes.
and that'll be really funny.
Yes, yes, it's written
It's
on
like
your face.
no, because I know from doing stand-up, it's like there's certain people that you just know are going to be good to do crowd work with because they're not completely clammed up and shy, but they're not the ones who want to talk to you either. They're the ones who are kind of like a little awkward. Like that's always where the juice is. And so I think you look at Keith and you're like, oh, it's going to be really hilarious if I make this dude uncomfortable.
That is a good point. Oh, and also, you're very sexy and she wants to sit on your lap.
That too.
And during these shows, I whack off.
During dinner.
Do you put
Except you don't like that sauce.
We had belly dancers in every big event growing up because
So it's probably not like sexual to you at all.
It's not sexual.
Your family gets drunk and they just start belly dancing.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the way we dance anyway. It's like very hip movement, and so it like at my bat mitzvah there was a belly dancer. My father gave me singles. I put it in her bra. I put it in her like
That's
everything.
healthy.
Yeah. And I'm dancing with her like in front of everybody. So in this restaurant, is there like dollar bills putting in bras and
I
things
doubt
like
it.
I don't know.
That doesn't sound classy. You
that?
know?
You
Is
first
there a
have,
champagne room?
you first have to go and then you could put dollars anywhere.
Yeah,
It's going to be fun.
That's right. Happy anniversary,
Thank
baby.
you.
That's what I'm getting
A
at.
whole year with this fucker, huh?
Hey, chances are you won't have to go through this one again. So it'll be a 1-year thing. So I feel like it's
Did I tell you, like, their 1-year anniversary is a day before I kick Tennessee out.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah.
God opens a window, something about a door, right?
Yeah. It's always my door closing and Keith's window opening, but it's cool.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hemda tells me bad news. She's like, oh, I think I have a tumor. I'm like, something's coming my way. What a life. What a life. Christian Finnegan, he's on Twitter. You know that. You can go to Christ Finnegan.
Yes.
You can go to the website if you want, christianfinnegan.com. This is when you find out about his new album called 60% Joking. Pre-sales available the 27th of this month. 24th of this month. The album comes out June 7th.
June 7th.
All right.
Indeed.
Your
All
albums are
here.
always fantastic.
That is kind of you to say.
Well
Hilarious.
thought
I
out,
follow you too.
very
You're
funny.
hilarious.
That's very nice of you to say. I appreciate that.
Kind of
Super
mean
pro.
sometimes, but, you know.
Well, you get 2 for flinching.
Kyle Ocasio, you can follow on Twitter, but don't, you know. Just, you know,
She's mine.
go through me. Let's
Like
get
Dad.
Right. Twitter is Ocasio Kyle. The Instagram is Ocasio Kyle.
What's the worst thing about Keith?
He's perfect.
Thank you, baby.
The worst thing is that he makes you lie in public.
Kyle,
He berates my food choices.
Okay, fair.
follow Hemdad. I'm a big bitch.org.
I finally got that.
You got .org.
It's a whole organization, apparently.
Yeah. I need people helping me.
It's a nonprofit.
Kyle's website is kyleocasio.com. The albums are Tell Mommy Your Name Again and Three's Comedy. Three's Comedy is with Joe DeVito also and Vicky Cooperman. You would know and love them.
I remember when Kyle was first dating Keith, and I was like, let me look this bitch up. Super great. Had to text her, saw your Gotham thing on YouTube.
Oh, God.
Super professional.
Thank you.
Everything's perfect. Amazing. I was very impressed. Get her shit.
Thank you.
.com.
Because I have to pay for dinner, so please get it.